All right, so sticking with our schedule, today is a short set of lines for Tuesday, lines 92 through 101, in order to give us time to review some older stuff and catch up on some of these names, maybe memorize some things, who knows. But you're going to get the short version here. This is, of course, Aeneas's speech in the midst of the storm. It's worth rereading in English before you start translating in Latin, and again, highlighting some of these proper names. Danaum, we have seen that before. I don't know that this is on our list. That was definitely not on our list. And then these are generic people names. So let's go back. So we've seen Danaum, and we should talk about these other two. Danaans is another word for Greeks, of course. Here, genitive plural, right? Danaum, that genitive plural of Danaans, of Greeks. Greeks are also Argives, and Greeks are, should be on the list, Achaeans. Trojans are Teucrians, Dardanians, and then based on what we're looking at here, anything to do with, if it sounds like the Iliad, it's Troy, right? Iliad is just the story of Ilium, which is another word for Troy. And so Iliac, I guess, as an adjective, would be Trojan. When we're talking about Trojan War, these are the groups we're worried about. Carthaginians don't really come into play, except that we are about to shipwreck in Carthage and be telling the story of the Trojan War to the Carthaginians. They are Phoenicians or Punici. They are Libyans. I don't know why it's written down here instead of here. They are also Tyrians. Tyre is a city in Phoenicia. I think we also get Sidonian at some point. Sidon is another major city in Phoenicia. Phoenicia is not in Libya. It's not in North Africa. If we were drawing our map of the Mediterranean world, this is my super awesome map. I got Turkey over here connected a little bit. This is, I lost my scale, but, Israel, Syria, Lebanon, this coast here is where Phoenicia was once the major power in the Mediterranean. Dido has migrated, and we'll hear her story later in the Aeneid, from Phoenicia to the site of Carthage, right, to North Africa. She had to claim some land from the locals, much like Aeneas will do. I gotta draw my Sicily. When he, this is a terrible, terrible coastline. He will take land from the locals. Also, when he makes it to Italy, she has done that in North Africa. So that's why they are Phoenicians and Tyrians and Sidonians, but also referred to as Libyans. Later, we'll see some words for Italians. I think we've kind of seen Siculi referring to Sicily, but Italy, of course. And then we'll learn some specific Italian tribes later in the Aeneid. Of the Rutuli are where Aeneas's rival Turnus is a part of that tribe in Italy. But we're concerned with Greeks and Trojans right now. And then there's one other name on here. I don't know that it's worth adding to our list. I don't know that this appears a lot. But let's talk about two words. So we're talking about Danaans, and he uses this name in the vocative case. Tydidae. Tydides, Edes, is a Greek patronymic suffix. It means son of. So we're talking about the son of Tydeus. And that guy is better known by his own name, which is Diomedes in the Iliad. Iakidae is kind of doing the same thing, except that it's plural. I left out some letters here. Iakidae are the descendants, plural, of a guy who I think his name is Iacchus, and he's like, a grandfather or something of Achilles. So this is like Achilles' tribe, the Iakidae. You can always translate the plural peoples. Well, that's not a people, it's just an adjective. But you can translate those like with their anglicized versions. Like you can say of Danaans for that form. You can say Iliac, but it makes more sense to say Trojan for this adjective. And you can call these people Ayakidai, or if it happened to be singular, Ayakidin, I guess, in English. So those are our larger groups. We got a singular person. We got this singular person who we should know, right, is Trojan. This is not a person. Sarpedon is a river near or around Troy, and so is the Simois. Those are Trojan area rivers. So that's what we got. We got some patronymics, we got some references, allusions to famous Greeks, and let's start reading. So always we want to read a whole line or to a solid punctuation mark. This first line is both. Ex templo Aeneae solvuntur frigore membra. Aeneae is probably genitive, could be dative, but it's Aeneas, so it's certainly not plural. And it's probably his membra, probably not his frigor, right? We attach genitives to nouns closest to them. Frigore is ablative, probably going with this solvuntur. Could be by, could be from, definitely ablative with a passive verb. And then Aenea membra, right? Aeneas is his members, his limbs. And then I never remember like there's like a agreed upon translation of solvuntur, but like they're loosened, freed, released, are loosened from their chill, are released from the cold. In other words, I guess he's been shivering, right? Keeping his arms, rubbing your upper arms, stay warm, right? Keeping your arms crossed, maybe. And here he's about to take them out of his pockets. He's about to release his arms, but his limbs are released from the cold. Your book might have a better note on how to translate that. Ingemit et duplicis tendens ansidera palmas talia voce fefert. This second line is, doesn't have a verb or anything, but it has a nice participial phrase. It's like its own little thing. I mean, it does have this verb, but it's kind of separate. He ingemits, and he's gonna do something else, but before that next verb, what we get is the participial phrase. And stretching his what? Oh, his palmas, palms, but metonymy for hands, right? And duplicis is probably written in your book as dupliques. Of course, this is the third declension adjective. Duplex, double. Duplex, duplicus. And so the only thing that is could be is an alternate spelling of a's. So, and stretching his dupliques palmas to the sidera. Sideris is another great Aeneas word to add to our list of us, ris, neuter nouns. I thought we might have seen it in Caesar. We should know this word. Stars. To the stars. To the metonymy for heavens, but to the stars. Reaching his dupliques palmas to the stars, so lifting up his arms in prayer, right? Talia voce refert, like he, and doing this, he refert, or relays, ferroferi tuluatum, such things with his voice. Scanning will tell you that A is short, so it is such things, not such a voice, but also grammar tells you that talus is a third declension adjective, and so it couldn't end in a long A and be ablative. It can only be a neuter plural, nominative, or accusative, right? And he relays the following things, right? Such things with his voice. O ter and quater, double que, both ter and quater beati, 3 and 4 times. Ter means 3 times. Quater means 4 times. Thrice and fourths. I don't know. Thrice and 4 times. Beati, blessed, plural. Quis, by simple knowing this is the first syllable in the line, is actually quis, making it a shortened form of quibus, right? Because quis is not a recognized form of quis quis quid or qui quae quod. So it is an alternative ablative or an alternative dative ibis. And that makes sense because is and ibis, that works. 3 and 4 times blessed are the people for whom ante ora patrum sub Troiae sub moenibus altis contigit opetere, for whom it befell to opetere, for whom it befell to die, to meet their death before the aura of their patrum, before the faces of their fathers, sub moenibus altis Troiae's gotta be going with that, under the high walls or the lofty walls of Troy. Last time we saw lofty walls, it was Rome. So we're connecting Troy to Rome from, I don't know, it was like line 7 or something. 3 and 4 times blessed. Lucky are the ones to whom it befell to die before their father's eyes, well, before their father's faces, under the lofty walls of Troy. O of Danaans, fortissime gentis, Tydidae. O bravest vocative, he's addressing this dude, of the nation of Danaans, of the race of Danaans, Diomedes, or Tydides. So he's calling out to a Greek dude, O bravest of the race of Danaans, Tydides. O Diomedes, me, ? Iliakis ocumbere campis non potuisse. Like, were you not able to ocumbere me? No, that doesn't make sense. Was I not able, like in an indirect statement, was I not able to meet my death on the Trojan fields? Was I not able, accusative infinitive, to meet my death on Trojan fields? And what else was I not able to do? To effundere, to pour out this life, this soul. Scanning will tell you this is tua dextra, by your right hand. Like, I wish you'd killed me, but like where I'm doing the things, like that I was not able to meet my death on Trojan fields and to pour out this soul of mine by your right hand on Trojan fields, where savage Hector, we saw that describing Juno, where savage Hector lies. Your book probably has a note on this. He lies with or from the spear or the weapon of Achilles, lies by Achilles' spear, where huge Sarpedon does whatever rivers do, where Simois, another river, rolls so many shields of men snatched under its waves, participle correpta, describing the scuta. Shields of men snatched under its waves, and helmets, and brave bodies. It rolls these things, the shields and the helmets and the bodies. The shields are described as of men and snatched under the waves. And the bodies are described as brave. You would expect brave to be describing the men, but grammatically it's not. When we want it to be describing something that it's not, but is near to it, we call that a transferred epithet. It's like high walls of Rome, walls of high Rome instead of high walls of Rome, right? We've got shields of men and their brave bodies instead of bodies of brave men. Transferred epithet. Names to know, a great speech to memorize, if you wanted to do that, as is memorizing the first few lines of the Aeneid. If you wanted to do that, it never hurts to have Arma through Romi or through Eri memorized. This is speeches are always great to make sure you're familiar with. So Dido's speech to Aeolus, Aeolus' response to Dido, and now Aeneas praying in the storm.